If you're looking for a traditionally dependable and capable pickup truck, look no further. The 2024 Nissan Frontier absolutely dominates its peers by offering a certain sense of familiarity and utility that most pickups these days simply cannot grasp. What's more, it also does it with effortless, true pickup style, and for a very affordable price too. So let's not waste any time and discover the 6 huge reasons why the Nissan Frontier dominates the mid-sized truck market. Number 6. An originally retro design. Honestly, what puzzles us the most in the modern mid-sized pickup truck segment is the complete absence of originality. Virtually all mid-sized trucks seem to be competing against one another in terms of how generic they look. Well, the Nissan Frontier has set its sights high in terms of design, and the 2024 model sets out to show how good-looking the car is. For starters, Nissan decided to adopt the fairly traditional blocky design that most trucks used to utilize. The front of the car is a simple yet bold design, featuring a large yet not over-the-top rectangular grille that's beautifully complemented by the square headlights. The sides of the car are also quite blocky and sharp without really being over-designed, and they carry on with the front's no-nonsense approach towards design. However, the rear of the car is, in our opinion, its shining point, as it somehow manages to be very simple to look at, yet very stylishly robust looking too. The way the ridges on the tailgate make the whole truck look more petite and compact does wonders for the rear, without moving away from the overall simplicity. The whole car looks and feels like an evolution of the trucks we used to see on the roads in the 70s and 80s, a true working man's truck. Nissan knows that their buyers love the truck for its borderline throwback design, which is why, for the 2024 model year, the company decided to give us a special treat in the form of their all-new hardbody trim level. This trim level pays homage to the legendary Nissan hardbody, which paved the way for Nissan's trucks in the US, as well as the rest of the world. Everything, including black painted bumpers, wheels, decals, and even the bed-mounted sport bar has been borrowed from the original hardbody. The tribute to its legacy, as well as the company's willingness to be different from the pack, is one of the reasons why we adore the Nissan Frontier. However, the styling is not the only thing that is traditional on the Nissan Frontier. Number 5. A traditionally dependable powertrain. In a time when downsizing seems to be a go-to trend, Nissan decided to stay true to its fans and fan base. Virtually every other manufacturer, including even Chevy and GMC, decided to retire their V6 powertrains in favor of a much more complicated and way less reliable inline-4 engines, which are oftentimes turbocharged. And while yes, this might keep torque and power figures while also lowering fuel consumption, the truth is that by trading a V6 for an inline-4, you'll have also traded an enormous amount of smoothness and a less strained powertrain, which in turn lowers the powertrain's reliability. Not to mention that a simple V6 is also much cheaper to maintain and much easier to run than an overburdened turbocharged 4. That is why we salute Nissan, which decided to go its separate way when it comes to powering its pickup truck. The 3.8-liter naturally aspirated V6 is, if we're being honest, quite a rare sight these days. However, the fact that it's a naturally aspirated engine shouldn't worry you, as it still has acres of torque and horsepower. It pushes out a little over 310 horsepower and manages to knock out a very respectable 287 pound-feet of torque, which is very impressive for a naturally aspirated engine. And while it's not as powerful as the Ford Ranger's 2.7-liter V6, which pushes out some 15 horsepower more, it doesn't need 2 inhalers to achieve those figures. To make matters even better, the Frontier's engine has been mated to a 9-speed automatic, which allows it smooth shifts, a good power band, and also pretty impressive MPG figures for such a vehicle. The Frontier, believe it or not, manages to knock out an average of 20 miles per gallon for a 4-wheel drive model, which isn't half bad because it's the largest engine in its class. All in all, the Frontier's powertrain is quite an interesting one, and we're glad that Nissan doesn't plan on abandoning naturally aspirated engines anytime soon. Number 4. Incredible off-road performance. What makes us scratch our heads the most these days is how situational mid-sized pickup trucks have become. They've become glorified SUVs with a truck bed attached to them, making them not quite great fits for off-road driving. Numerous trucks, like the Honda Ridgeline, aren't even body-on-frame, making them quite pathetic on roads that aren't buttery smooth. Well, thankfully, the Nissan Frontier isn't one of those lackluster and impotent trucks. Nissan knows all too well that trucks have been designed to be as multi-purpose as vehicles get, which is why they decided to focus on granting the Frontier phenomenal off-road ability. This has been done through increased ground clearance, a traditional ladder chassis, and the fact that the truck offers a true four-wheel drive drivetrain. Not to mention that there are also specific trim levels, like the aforementioned hardbody and the Pro 4X, which have been designed specifically with off-roading in mind. And while yes, it's not as good as an off-roader as the Jeep Gladiator, it isn't far off. This says a lot about the front line, especially since the Gladiator has been designed with off-roading as its primary virtue. However, that's not the only thing that the Frontier excels at. Number 3. Class-leading comfort levels. What makes us especially interested in the Nissan front line is that, despite it sitting on a body-on-frame platform, it manages to achieve driving dynamics that are as composed as a unibody truck would be. The truck suspension is perfectly balanced, and it's neither too harsh nor too hard, beating out both the wobbly Gladiator and the kidney-braking Tacoma. Furthermore, Nissan also went to great lengths to achieve a great steering feel. As a result, the Nissan Frontier feels direct and easy to command, while also retaining quite a bit of composure in the bends. What makes the Frontier even greater is its phenomenally comfortable seats and interior. The seats, which Nissan proudly calls zero-gravity seats, are designed to provide an ideal seating position, while also granting a floaty soft feel, which allows the suspension's virtues to be amplified significantly. The interior is very roomy, allowing for a lot of comfort and a feeling of openness, while also being very practical, as there are countless cubby spaces to leave your trinkets in. However, that's not the only reason why the Frontier's interior reigns superior over its rivals. Number 2. A solid number of features and amenities. Most trucks in this segment tend to be fairly under-equipped and dated. To be quite honest, the previous generation of the Nissan Frontier used to be the greatest example of this, as it was over 16 years in production, and this was most evident in its painstakingly dated interior. Thankfully, the new model is not only a much welcome improvement, but also among the best equipped cars in its class. First of all, the interior itself has been elevated considerably in terms of quality. Unlike the previous generation, which was full of scratchy and squeaky plastics, the new Nissan Frontier offers a plush interior with acres of soft-touch plastics. Furthermore, it also comes very well equipped from the get-go, as even the lowest trim levels come with a bunch of stuff. For example, the completely bare-bones S trim comes with automatic climate controls, an 8-inch infotainment screen, a semi-digital gauge cluster, and even keyless Go as standard. Furthermore, the top-of-the-range Frontiers come with real leather seats, a leather-wrapped dashboard, heated and cooled seats, a multi-zone climate system, and a bunch of other features that decorate serious luxury trucks such as the Ram 1500. This then begs the question of the Frontier's price, as a truck that's this well-rounded simply cannot be affordable. Or can it? Number 1. An incredibly competitive price tag. We're honestly completely thrown aback at the fact that Nissan managed to create a truck that's so well-rounded, yet also manages to be quite affordable. Scrap that. The Frontier isn't affordable. It's flat out the cheapest midsize pickup truck you can buy today. The Frontier, believe it or not, starts at a notch over $29,000 for the RWD King Cab S trim, which is frankly unbelievable, especially since it comes with a fair bit of kit, as we've already mentioned. This is almost $10,000 less than the base model Honda Ridgeline and the base Jeep Gladiator, around $3,000 less than the Ford Ranger and the Chevrolet Colorado, and around $2,000 less than the Toyota Tacoma. The Frontier is more of a Ford Maverick competitor from a price standpoint, which it completely beats out in every way possible. Furthermore, since the Frontier comes as standard with its 3.8-liter V6 and the aforementioned 9-speed auto box, you won't need to worry about power or smoothness, even for the lowest trim levels. The top-of-the-line trims are also fairly affordable, as they all come with 4-wheel drive as standard, and are, as such, considerably cheaper than the rest of the Frontier's peers' high trim levels. The Frontier SL starts at $42,800, which is around $1,000 less than the RWD Raptor Lariat, and it's not like the Lariat offers a whole bunch of equipment more than the Nissan. All in all, the Nissan Frontier is, in our opinion, by far the most well-rounded truck in the entire segment. while also being a great option for those of us who prefer traditional reliability and dependability over unnecessary changes.